Ladies and gentlemen, we have been working all day and now it's after work. I can say that because even though I'm on vacation, I was still working today. And now it's after work. I'm Joe. Welcome to a special after work review. That's what we're gonna call it. I had no other cheesy name to think of, but the man over here, opposite of the screen, BlandExplosion, fam. Thank you for doing this first off, and welcome. Let people know a little bit about you.
Oh, well, thank you for having me, Joe. It's really nice to team up with you and review this game with you. Yeah, my name is Garret Bland. I'm kind of just a fan of Joe. I'm a fan of Nintendo Guru as well, and Sean Capri, and I'm just glad to be in this community. And so I'm ready to discuss about this, Joe. I'm ready to
Nice.
go.
Awesome. All right. So, without further ado, as you guys see, the layout and the gameplay in the background is you might even see down below me also because just shifted the stream that we played Bloodstained on. So, you might see a hand waving there every now and again. Don't be alarmed. There's no one behind us. Um we're here reviewing Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. Sorry. Should I say Garrett or Bland? I'm so used to
Garrett,
Bland.
it's fine.
Okay.
Go by the first name. It's okay. Go for it.
um, Garrett played the Switch version again, 505 in our play. Thank you for providing us a review copy for that. Bland was able to play the Switch version, and I was able to play the PC version. And a little bit of the Switch version as well. And hold up, let me pull up my notes here, and we'll just go right into it. I think the first thing is probably addressing the elephant in the room, which has been the Switch version. With your time that you have played it, uh, what's your experience been like? Like, how many hours have you jumped in? What have you encountered? I guess.
Yeah, so I've played about 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours on the Switch version. I'm about 50% through the map right
Nice.
now. So I've gone through a handful of bosses, and I can tell you right now, just to get this out of the way, the Switch port is probably not the best option to go with. And I think everyone knows that by now. You've seen it everywhere. And I actually saw like yesterday, Digital Foundry did a very nice job analyzing the graphics and the delays with the Switch port and relative to other versions. So yeah, check that out if you really are curious about what's the impact on the graphics. But for me, um, docked, it is playable,
Okay.
I think. There's a little bit of hiccups in certain areas where it does get choppy. It does slow down. Graphically wise, like, I don't care much with my Switch version, to be honest with you, because I don't go to the Switch for the graphics. I go there for the portability aspect and also just Nintendo exclusives. So,
Fair enough.
um,
That's fair.
yeah, from that end, I don't really mind as much, and it's fine enough. Now, when it comes to frame rate, now when it comes to slowing down in this game, that's probably not good for this type of game. And also the delay in the controls is pretty bad. Um,
Yeah.
I'm getting like, okay, I'm moving, and then it moves on the screen. I'm like, this is
Oof.
not.
Even
Yeah,
undocked.
on dock mode as well. Yes.
Oof. Wow. Because I thought that
Yeah,
was
like
just me. I was playing handheld for most of
mhm,
my time with the Switch so far,
mhm.
and yeah, I thought it was just a handheld thing. I didn't realize it was a dock thing as well.
Yeah, so I played about maybe an hour and a half handheld mode,
Hmm.
and it is a little worse, and I could tell you it's not a very fun experience
Fighting
handheld
Zangetsu
wise.
was very tricky. It was like playing an
Oh yeah.
offbeat song on Dance Dance Revolution and trying to go offbeat to steps to sync up to get the perfect instead of getting the great. And I just felt like I just kept getting greats and misses and getting beat up by Zangetsu. And it was like I still was able to do it that on the first shot, but it was just like, ooh, that was rough. And that was just one
Yeah.
person in the room.
Yeah. I found Zangetsu pretty hard actually. In the first boss.
He's
But
yeah, I agree.
yeah, and then the rest of the bosses that I've played hasn't been that hard ever since actually.
Yeah, it's
Very nicely.
interesting. It's like you start to get familiar. I feel like Zangetsu's sort of like the gatekeeper. He's like, okay, if you could beat him, you're gonna have like a good experience with this game, and like you'll be able to pick up more as you go along, and things will get
Yeah.
easier. I think once that I think what my second magic power up, the portraits to welcome aboard,
Oh yeah.
once you get that, it's kind of like, all right, it's Cake City. And thank you everybody that's been coming in with the hosts and the resub
Nice.
sim. We are doing a little review here, an in-depth discussion of sorts with Bloodstained Ritual Night with Bland over here on the other side. Y'all might know him in the chat as BlandExplosion. But we're here talking about. We were just talking about our experiences with Switch version. Bland had a lot more experience on the Switch version than I have. He's
Mhm.
spent about 8 hours on it, and we were just kind of going over, the stuff that
Mhm.
has been brought up over the past week, and also his personal experiences as well about the game. And
Yeah.
so we were just talking about the performance, and graphically how the games look. And of course, yeah, if you're gonna play a Switch version, you are usually gonna get that graphical downgrade a bit, so to speak, for lack of a
Mhm.
better phrase. I don't mean to make it sound harsh, but for me, yeah, it was more of a performance thing that I was like, hey, this doesn't feel, the input lag was
Right.
the kind of the killer for me. I was like, all right, maybe I do wait. Up next, let's talk about sort of the environments of the game
Mhm.
itself. I mean, the game for even on the Switch itself, like the game,
Yeah.
the environments that you go into are really really nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Some of them are creative too, and even like the way you go towards approaching certain obstacles, and like how you really do need to pay attention to what armor you're equipping, because some
Mhm.
of it does impact your platforming, which I think this might
Right.
be like the second or third game I've ever played that I've had to actually pay attention to what I'm using to progress.
Yeah. It's really cool to kind of see kind of the directionless like view of this game, and of course it's a spiritual successor to Castlevania Symphony of the Night. So when we talk about environments, they really want to mimic that kind of environment, and I think they did a pretty nice job. And then they went a little bit more diverse in that they try to stretch a little bit. I thought, the enemies were really well thought out. I think some of them were kind of just random too.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, there's a big, huge night demon. All right, I got a big flying demon right behind it. Okay, and then there's a poodle head right behind it. This is gonna be a fun stage,
That
you know?
poodle and the cat with the horns are two of the most random enemies aside from Shovel
Yeah,
Knight. Like,
yeah, that too. I saw that. I was like, what?
what is going on? I love it. It's like, okay, this either had to have been like some kind of Kickstarter goal, or this is just Igarashi being, or whoever he's working under to design these characters, just be like, whatever. It works too. It works
Yeah.
too. I was really impressed with it. Um, with the environments that you've explored so far,
Mhm.
what
Yeah.
weapons have you found yourself using? Like, what's been like, have you bounced back and forth
Mhm.
between different gear sets, or have you been using the shortcuts?
I haven't been using the shortcuts as much. Whenever I find something that works, then I really keep on with it until it doesn't work anymore.
Hmm.
Um, so, in the beginning, I was experimenting a little bit with all kinds of different weapons, including the whip, the gun, the two-handed sword, the dagger, like everything, just to see, okay, what is my play style? And then once I got a groove going, I'm like, okay, I know that I'm pretty good with the sword. It's kind of agile enough where I can dodge a little bit, but also can put pretty good amount of damage. So that's where I kind of lean towards. Um, I liked the second choice I liked was the guns. Um, but
Nice.
the only thing downside about that is that it's a long waiting time. You're very vulnerable when you stop and then you have to shoot. So you got to be very careful when you're placing that and what kind of bullets you're using. It does a really good job at like figuring out, hey, what is your play style? All right, this is your play style, and you can go forward with it.
Yeah, and I applaud the game for kind of embracing like, hey, here's all these different ways you can play this
Yeah.
game. There is no wrong way to go through. I will
Hmm.
say with that, like I was excited going in with the boots and like, yo, I'm gonna just kick butt with these boots and like, just dive kick everybody. I'm good. I'm set. And then I found myself mostly playing with the sword. I was like,
Yeah.
this was the perfect playstyle for me. Sword, the welcome aboard. Once I had welcome aboard, I was like, that was kind
Oh,
of it for me. I was like,
yeah.
I'm set. I don't need anything else. Let's just power up this thing and we're good to go.
I'm currently on the welcome aboard. I have the books. I'm upgrading them. I'm like, I
Dude.
think this is a little too overpowered.
Yep.
I'm not sure, but it's working. So let me just go forward with it, man.
And it's like I see that being a part of a speedrun tactic. I 100% see it.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And then just to add on to your gun thing, it seems like the gun has like a lot of stopping power, but it's like that's the repercussion to using it. Like
Hmm.
each weapon sort of has like that, okay, you're going to use this, but you're going to lack a little bit of X, Y, and Z if you use this weapon. So it's like
Yeah.
that balance of control there. Um
Yeah.
I forgot what oh, so we were talking about upgrades just to bounce back real quick.
Yeah.
Upgrading system,
Yeah.
yay, nay, what was
It's okay. It's the thing is, I feel like it's not one critique about it. It's not structured enough for me in
mhm,
order to like get a very coherent like build going on. There's so many different shards, and then so many different. There's four different types of shards, and each like section has like I have like 20 to 30 shards to go through. And I'm
yeah.
like, I guess I can use this, but I'm throwing this bone, and this bone is killing monsters. So I mean, I think I'm fine right now.
Yeah.
Now I think we're on the first difficulty. I don't know if you've done a second or third playthrough at all
No, no,
yet.
I just beat the game over the weekend, so this is
Yeah,
fresh
yeah,
off my mind.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, I'm curious when I go through the second or third playthrough, if I ever um do I change my tactic? If it's like, okay, it works on this lower difficulty, all right, now I'm gonna really have to think about what do I need to do in order to minimize my damage towards my character, and at the same time maximum output to damage to the monsters as well.
Yeah, and especially with the
Um,
meals, like even messing with like crafting the meals, like I feel like that might play
mhm,
into a harder difficulty playthrough or something like that a little bit
yeah.
more cuz although I did find myself using meals more towards the end of the game, I didn't
Okay.
necessarily feel like I had to rely on that. Like I felt like potions
Mhm,
and high potions were like the way to go, and then
yeah.
the meals were great for some of the end game bosses that you can fight, like that aren't
Okay.
part of story related things. It helped me out in that sense for sure, especially with one in particular. Um, but yeah, that
Okay.
the crafting, I didn't really find myself crafting too many weapons, although I did find
Hmm.
myself crafting armor for the funeral person that's outside the main hub area with the plant
Oh,
with growing the seeds, because
yeah.
whenever she needed something I was like, okay, I can craft that because I have that item in there, or I already had it from like, previously using that item or picking it up from an enemy or something like that.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I felt like I was using it more for that than for myself. And I felt
Yeah.
like that's where it kind of could have, I don't know, maybe there's something there that could have been worked out, like where maybe I have this particular armor set and then uh,
Hmm.
upgrade that particular armor from there, kind of like how the shards work, where if you have multiples of
Yeah.
the shards, it upgrades the rank, but then you
Right.
can go in and increase the grade from the materials you get. So
Yes.
that's neat. But like you said, yeah, it can feel overwhelming if you're like looking at the giant list of shards that you get and like, oh, where do I
Yeah.
start?
Yeah, going off with the armor, I felt like it was more like a looter kind of
Hmm.
game where I was like, I find the best armor. Okay, I'll just wear that. Like,
Yeah.
okay, that gives me the best defense. That gives me the best whatever stats or whatever. So in that sense, I wish crafting was a little bit more important. But I feel like if this game like is meant to be, hey, here's Symphony of the Night, here's some crafting elements that you can mess with, then I think it does itself a good job.
Gotcha, gotcha. And sorry if we are dropping frames here. I guess
Oh,
a new month didn't help.
oh no.
Oh yeah, yeah. So it's on my end, guys. So I apologize. Yeah, I see the dips, but in and I just missed my notes there. So yeah, we talked about the environments, gameplay, the soundtrack, dude. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I there were certain areas, and I wish I had like the list of the names for the songs so I can go back and kind
Yeah.
of like um check out what remember like different areas for different songs. But like for the most part, I felt like each area the music just matched a lot of the areas perfectly. Like there was
Yeah.
not one bad song.
Yeah, I didn't find a song to be like, oh, this is pretty bad. But like, if if a sound designer is like, okay, I want a song to fit perfectly with the level, to the point where the gamer doesn't really realize the song is changing or the song, like I feel like the song changing to the scene or the mood of the environment was really smooth.
Yeah,
And it's like, okay, I'm listening to the song. It's like I kind of get the aura, I kind of get the essence of where I'm at.
yeah,
um we're in the beginning, right? The Castlevania type of part. It's like, very strong, very robust, like do do, like it's very
yeah.
like marching kind of sense. And then you go to the Secret Gardens, like here's a melancholy, here's a flute going on, and it's like, all right, guys, thanks for actually putting in some effort into the sound design of these environments.
And that's shout outs to Michiru Yamane. I hope I said that right. But she's like been with Igarashi for like forever in terms of like all these Castlevania games. So she composed Symphony of the Night, which is sort of like
Hmm.
the big one, the big boss there of all the
Gotcha.
Castlevania games, the more notable one. I guess that you can say coined the term Metroidvania because it pulled a
Yeah.
lot of Metroid elements for that time, Super Metroid elements.
Hmm.
But yeah, dude, I loved the boss battle guitar riff that you would get.
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah.
was awesome. And then even like the dialogue scenes where it was just like mainly piano keys. It was just like
Mhm.
very daunting, very ominous. I was all in. I felt like all the songs were really really good.
Good.
Shout outs
Yeah,
to
yeah, for
Salsa
sure.
by the way in the chat. So there we go. There's that. It yeah, we've gone on what about 15-20 minutes now with y'all
Okay.
catching the pre-show. So I mean, in closing, like I know again, Switch faults aside, are
Mhm.
you enjoying the game? Do you
Mhm.
recommend it?
Yeah, so I what I can tell you about this game is that it keeps me going, even though I'm playing the Switch version. It's like, okay, I want to go to the next area. I want to see where this ends up, and I think that's what both this and then Symphony of the Night is really good at. It's like I want to keep going. It's like, okay, let me just play one more hour. Let me get through this area. Oh man, I just beat this boss. Let me progress a bit more. I think that's what it really does a good job.
Nice.
So I do recommend this game. Um, right now, I don't recommend getting the Switch version. And if you're like, hey, I really need the Switch version, I'm like, okay, you got to wait a little bit because they promise to update it. They promise to make it a little bit better. And I hope you get the best experience that you can.
Yeah,
So that's what
agreed.
I'm saying right now. I heard Xbox One X and the PC version are probably the best ways to go. And I heard like the PS4 Pro, it's 1080p output, which is a starking difference between Xbox One X 4K. So depending on
Huh.
how much of a graphical buff you are,
Yeah.
just either or is fine. But I heard they all play fine, so just go for it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I mean, I'm in agreement with Bland here in regards to Switch version. Hopefully, the performance issues in particular, like the game's gonna look the way the game's gonna look, but if we can get that like stable frame rate, that would be great because I think that'll help with a lot of the input lag issues with button
Hmm.
inputs. But with that said, yeah, I had a blast playing this on the Steam version, and
Hmm.
dude, that 0.2% is killing me. It's killing me. It's like gonna be the asterisk on my list of games, and I'm gonna be like, you know what? One day I'll go back
One
and
day.
I'll complete that 0.2%.
You know it's a hidden room, right? It's got to be a hidden
There are
room.
two hidden rooms. So I gotta hit.
Gosh.
I got some advice in chat from yesterday. Shout out to Three Maze. Um,
Mhm.
he says there's a power called Detective Eye. I had just gotten that
Oh.
when I finished up streaming on Saturday night, and
Mhm.
I was trying to like go through, try to complete as much as I could. And so apparently that gives you hidden wall abilities, like be able to see hidden walls.
Oh,
The other
okay.
thing was I completely forgot about the fairy familiar. She points at hidden walls.
Oh,
She
I didn't
tell
realize that.
yeah, Karabos,
Huh.
because I had used her for like a majority of the game. Between her and Silver Knight, I was like, I was set. And she goes, "Hey, look at this!" And she points at the wall. That's freaking. I was like, "Oh, that's adorable and awesome at the same time."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
pro tips right there for anybody out there having trouble looking for hidden areas.
Well, thanks for that. I'll for sure keep on going with this game. I'm wondering if I should wait until I hear an update, before I continue going with this. But I really do enjoy the game.
Awesome. And then I mean, yeah, it's Independence Day week, I guess you could say here in the States. So we might not hear anything maybe, even though it's out in Japan, but we probably won't hear anything for another week or
Mhm.
so if that's the case. I mean, who knows how long, it might
Yeah.
take to run through some of these bugs. I'm sure they're working really hard on this stuff. So
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Garrett, dude, thank you so much for jumping in on this one. I know it was like only a week to play as much as you could, but I
Yeah.
appreciate it. This is awesome. I want to do more of these, like whenever I get the
Mhm.
opportunity to get like an extra code or something. So I'm glad you
Yeah.
were able to step on in and jump in, dude. Pimp yourself out.
Thank you for having me.
You've done reviews in the past, right? You've mentioned,
Yeah.
dude, pimp your stuff out.
So I've done a couple reviews with Nintendo Guru. So I have done oh gosh, I even forgot the name of the game. It's a bicycle. It was like those one of those Trials Fusion 2D bicycle games. You could probably look it up in it's one of a Switch game and it was actually okay. So go and check that one out. And I also reviewed Wargroove
Think I found it.
in Nintendo Guru channel. I really enjoy Wargroove. So and I'm a huge strategy RPG buff. So just go have at it with Wargroove. Yeah. Other than that, I've done some previous reviews with We the Nerdy website. You can check those out. They're really great guys over there. But yeah, other than that, you can follow me on Twitter at Bland725. You can also follow me on Twitch. I mainly do strategy RPGs. So if you're into that, I'm playing Phil Seal's Arbiter's Mark right now on Xbox. And then I'm also gonna probably do a campaign series of Rise of Nations, one of my favorite real-time strategy RPGs of all time. So have at it. Give me a follow if you want. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for having me, Joe. This has been
Yo,
awesome.
that was perfect timing. I was like, I'm trying to find these videos and these links for you. they're all
Yeah.
they're all in the chat. I will try to remember to save that so that way I have it in the YouTube description down below. Make sure you follow
There
the
you go.
homie, check him out. And check out that video with Nintendo Guru. Shout out to Bobby. I'm seeing that dude on
Yeah.
Saturday. That dude's the homie.
Oh,
Um,
he's a great guy.
with that said, you guys already know you're in the
Mhm.
right place. Twitch.tv/JoAfterWork, YouTube.com/JoAfterWork if you're watching this after the fact. This is Joe and Garrett. Clocking out. Take care. Love y'all.